Your turn.
バトブラスターズ
Sometimes there's an interesting gun that's a confluence of hype beast, but also not very hyped.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just get straight to it. This is the APC223 Sport whatever, like the long barrel one that was specifically called the Sport whatever.
It's a sporting rifle because they use it for sport. If you use an M16 for sport, is the M16 a sporting rifle?
I hate that shit. Yeah. Why'd you put the stock in? You're not a dwarf.
Oh, well, I put the stock in because this is Fud Blasters, the YouTube channel where we complain about adjustable and foldable stocks because apparently it's impossible to make a good one.
Okay, yeah, so no, that's, I guess we're foreshadowing there. I was annoyed he put the stock in. So the interesting thing is that when you first see one of these like on a shelf or something, you're going to think, oh, it's Scar at Home.
Oh, yeah, cool, look, is that a Scar L? Is that what's going on with that?
Yeah. And this is an interesting thing because it's Scar at Home that costs more than the Scar.
Yes.
No, 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 no.
I wound up with one of these intending to just shit on it, and I walked away with something else. So you can watch our video on the Scar H. It'll cover pretty much the entire operating mechanism. There's nothing different about this. Right there. It's short stroke, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, it is not.
Yeah. It's a short stroke AR-18 bolt. It's got a 2-position gas system, which I always shoot this one in the suppressed setting because in normal it's overgassed.
Yeah.
And that's why
it's a piston AR thing.
Yeah. And it's really soft to shoot, but you have to actually choke it. If you don't, hold the gun firmly, it won't cycle. So I always shoot this on the suppressed setting without a suppressor on it. And I love how incredibly soft it is in that way. But it's a 16-inch 5.56 semi-auto gun. And on that much, there's nothing that hasn't been done before, right? The fire controls are AR derived. It's a confluence of AR-15 and 18 that I think is pretty nice. It's got pretty ergonomic controls. There's your bolt release. It's ambidextrous. Everything, it's, fully ambidextrous.
Yep.
And there's the issue is that there's not much to say about it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, in my opinion, it just kind of winds up being a really nice AR-18.
Right. This is, I mean, to me, it's always sort of been puzzling to me because PSA is probably closest equivalent to this is the Jackal,
Right.
which isn't short stroke. It's not exactly AR-18. It's
Right.
It's like it's a long stroke AR-18 is probably the best way to
Which is
put
weird.
it. Which is an interesting system, but even still, PSA is selling that for a song and a dance. It's not cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and it's somewhat confusing to me that AR-15s are so dominant that even whenever you're more AR-15 adjacent to this, like a straight up AR-15 lower, even with piston uppers, they still manage to find a way into being expensive. I want to mess with the Tink Arms Perun more because that's sort of another realization of this. But even still, right? They're not cheap.
Right.
They sort of all end up being in this sort of a price range. And I think in terms of shooting them, of all of those that I have shot so far, I think this shoots the nicest of all of those sorts of things where they're like AR-18 adjacent-ish things that then have an aluminum tube track upper.
Right.
I think this was the smoothest shooting of them all. That said, I don't think that this thing shoots better than a $1,000 AR or whatever. I think with an AR-15, you can certainly get a better, nicer shooting build put together for less money especially for less money than these end up going for. But in terms of the realizations of this, I guess I do need to get more time on with an actual Scar L.
Right.
But I don't hate what this thing is doing.
Yeah. And so I got the second hand. I don't know what the stock is. I don't think it's original.
I don't think it's B&T's.
Yeah. And it's kind of dreadful. You have to really mean it to get the stock open.
And then it's all the way open and then it wobbles.
Yeah, it wobbles incredibly. I think that's where I put it. I don't fucking know. But yeah, and then you have the stupid adjustable cheek riser thing that frankly, I forgot how to do.
It might have to be unfold the stock first. That would be my guess. That's how I would make it if I was doing it.
No, wait. Nope. Oh, it's one of those. Yeah. No, so this is stupid as
is it
hell.
like the ACR?
It's like you push it back and then up. So you got two positions. You got up and then down.
That's nice.
Yeah. It lets you get it. I don't know. It's better than nothing,
Yeah.
I guess. But again, we'll get to the price point in a bit. You expect a bit better than nothing.
Yeah.
The fire controls are interesting because you make contact with a polymer trigger shoe, right?
Yep.
And that immediately doesn't inspire confidence.
It feels like
Yeah, it feels like it. And then you break it, and you're like, woof. And then you come back for a follow up. It's so positive. Yeah, it's singing.
I just now noticed it's got a flash hider that wants to sing to you.
Yeah, it's singing. I gotta get rid of that shit. But it's a nice, crisp, clean trigger.
Yeah.
It's all super clean.
As a left-handed person, I will say the massive flag they put on the safety sucks dick to get your finger around.
It feels the same on the right hand.
It's still in the way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's ambidextrously in the way.
Yes. It's equally fucked up left or right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trigger's got a relatively low resistance first stage. And then you get to the second stage, you have like a 5 or 6 pound break.
Yeah. But it's clean and it's consistent, and the reset is exceptionally positive. I hate the singing.
Yeah. It's got a audible reset that's in a good position, right? It's not like overly short, and it's certainly not too long. It's in a good spot, and it doesn't necessarily punch you in the finger like a AR-15 mil-spec trigger does, but
Right.
it's far from like there's some AR-15 drop-in triggers that are about this 4 or 5 pound break range where the reset doesn't exist. Like if you've got ears on well enough, you won't feel or hear it, and you're just trusting that it happened.
Yeah. So there's your fire control mechanism. It's just an AR.
Yep.
That's it. It's an AR with an interesting intermediate between the actual trigger and what you're feeling.
Yep.
Take a look at that. They did something funny with it.
So that's interesting. So it's like a polymer shoe that they put around a regular AR trigger.
So it's the regular AR trigger has it like the real trigger is in a very short single stage trigger.
Yep.
But they put this little fake second stage, right? Which I like it. I think it works.
It reminds me of the Savage Accu trigger.
Yeah.
The Savage Accu trigger is bisected
Right.
to do the same sort of thing, where there's like a completely not part of the trigger part that you do for your first stage, and then the second stage is pretty crisp and clean.
Yeah. But all that to say, like it's well made, it's well machined, it's very tight, it's accurate, it's easy to shoot, it's smooth, and there's no reason you should choose this gun.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I like this gun. And when I decided to keep it because I decided this was going to be my night vision setup, which you can tell because I've totally put that shit on it. But like you have to at some point grapple with the price.
Yes.
And a gun can be, and this is where. So again, now let's divorce again. Let's talk about objectively. Money is no object. Don't worry about anything else. Rate this as a combat weapon. It's in terms of like good core excellent.
I'm sitting here looking through the M-lock slots at the exposed spring around the piston, which some systems have, and it doesn't end up introducing a huge reliability concern. But
I'm not worried about that.
I don't trust that a ton. I don't know. I'm going to put it like a 6 or 7. Like I'm going to give it a 6 where the AR-18 is a 7 because the AR-18 does a better job of like not letting shit get all over its piston.
I'm going to say very good to even excellent from a user experience perspective, from a usability perspective, from a smoothness perspective, and then from a confidence inspiring perspective. I wasn't going to give it a number because that's too mathematical.
Yep.
I prefer to use words because I'm a lizard-brained lawyer and it lets me weasel my way out of saying the wrong thing. But I think it's an excellent fighting rifle objectively. And then you get to the price. It's like $3,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And I didn't pay that. And you couldn't, no. I got it for less than half of that. But it blows me away to think that somebody could spend that and be happy. I would feel, if I had spent retail price on this.
Like it's not like there's the movie video game adaptation of your favorite book story where the main character only uses this one and you want to be the main character. That gun doesn't have this.
Right.
And it's not even like similar enough to the Scar L that it's like but it's just like a Scar L. It's not neither of those things. So
it's just like a Scar L in that it mabes your hand if you have an optic.
Right.
And the first thing I did when I bought this gun, by the way, I was still in the shop. I switched it over to the right hand. I was like, that's what men do.
There you go. Like an ACK.
Yeah, like an ACK. But it does maim your hand. Unlike a Scar L, it doesn't maim your optic.
Yes.
So that's the thing. But yeah, no, there's no like, and also in terms of machining complexity and stuff, they've simplified it. The trunnion is screwed into the extrusion. Excellent. That should have made it cost a couple $100 less. But Switzerland.
Yeah, because I was going to complain about like the shockingly Kel-Tec approach to manufacturing this, where they're like, the little case deflector nub in there that they put there to keep the extrusion from getting beat up, screwed on. Trunnion, we're screwing that on. I guess the handguard screws aren't really that offensive, but looks like one handguard is screwed onto the trunnion. Not bad. Right, yeah. I think the other one may be to the rail.
Yeah.
Screwing the handguard to the trunnion, assuming that's what I'm correct and that's what's going on there, that's good.
And then we've got the rotation
guide to keep the bolt from being able to rotate.
Right. Screwed in just like the M17,
and that's all right.
But the M17
doesn't cost $3,000. Does
not cost $3,000, and there is nothing that really sets this gun that much apart from the M17 from any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Except for that it feels good.
It feels all right. Yeah.
It feels really good, and like I mean, once you're like get into levels of gun snobbery where like the difference in smoothness between like one AR-18 and another means something to you.
Right.
That's worth something, but there's no way it's worth that much. There's just no way. And so I think that my core takeaway about this gun is that this is a fantastic rifle that no one in their right mind should buy.
Yeah. I mean, shoot's good. I mean, if we do the game where we like, how much would be I'm not paying more than that?
Yeah.
For me, it would be I'd like to buy one for $800. I feel like I'm like, this is the gun everybody should buy if it was at $800. At $1,000, I probably wouldn't be much interested in. I wouldn't be interested in buying one much higher than $1,000, just from a standpoint of I know what I can get out of an AR at that point. And I guess at some point we could revisit this and shoot it for groups. I guarantee it's not sub-minute. You can have a sub-minute all day, every day AR for $1,000. I do. Fundamentally speaking, I don't see aluminum extruded guns doing that.
Fair. For me, I know exactly what the walkaway price is on this because I negotiated for it. Yeah, I paid it. We bitterly fought over. This was part of a larger trade shield, but we bitterly fought until this was $1,500, and that was when I went, okay. So that's what it was for me. Of course, I was partly motivated by we can put this on Fun Blasters, right? Which probably inflates the value a little bit, but not that much because I don't really care that much about hype beast guns like this. If it was something much more esoteric, it would be a much bigger drive, like the a gun that I'm embarrassed that I bought like for what I had to pay for it is the Grendel SRT.
Yeah.
The precursor to Kel-Tec dog shit stock for a Sacco TRG2, or not, whatever it is. I was like, I need it. I just need it. It doesn't matter. But yeah, this is there's no reason, and I think that's probably why it hasn't made a big splash. It's just entirely too expensive.
Like of B&T's stuff, I think this is the one I hear the least about. Like the SHOT Show it was revealed. I remember hearing like, oh, B&T's making a Scar L. Anyway.
Yeah. No one. The APC pistols made much more of a splash than these, and you see hypebeasts sporting those. That's retarded. Yeah. Because those are straight blowback, and they're like, no, it has a delay system. There's like when you open the soft closed drawers on a kitchen cabinet, and they go, psst, it's got that. It's got that in the back
It's
of it.
super delayed.
Yeah, it's super delayed. Yeah, that's delayed. Delay happens at the very end of the
Yeah.
recoil travel, I think. But yes, I don't think there's much more to say about the APC223. I mean, would you agree with that? I think this is an excellent gun.
Yeah. I mean, I have no qualms with it. I mean, we could put more rounds through it to find out, like, is it really good and last and durable? I trust B&T's reputation enough that they wouldn't sell you a piece of complete dog shit when it comes to something like this.
Unlike them.
There's one notable exception B&T did, and it's the BWC9.
Yeah.
I imagine with something like this, they were at least interested in courting a military contract. So I'm sure they've done their testing.
I'm sure they dropped it on 800 crayons or whatever.
I'm sure it's quite a good gun, but for me, you start losing me above $800. At $1,000, you've lost me because I'm thinking of all of the other things that are as good or better that I could have at that point. And then, like, the really hard thing is there's no nostalgia bullet to bite here.
Right.
Like, I'd pay any amount of money from that because it's from my favorite thing. Right? There's no consume. I must have the one from the thing.
Yeah.
And I certainly, like, building your personality off of something like this would just be, for me, right? Like if I built my personality off of this, defended it online all the day, like, I'm the guy in the comment stopping right now. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You could never build an AR as good as that for $1,000. This is the best gun I've ever shot. I would hate to then be like 10 years later when you're trying to go to sleep at night. You're like, oh fuck, I said that. Oh, that's bad. I really shouldn't have said that. God, I look like such a fucking twit.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the shooting or whatever. Not me?
I want to try a couple more with that just for pleasure.
Yeah, no,
Just to see.
You said the
Okay.
AR-18 disease, and then you shot this.
It is really heavy though.
It's fucked up heavy. But it's smooth, right?
Yeah. Of course. I'm going to try it without magnification. Just to give myself the same frame of reference. Does this not? It looks like it
push
flips.
the button.
No, there we go.
Yeah, optics are gay.
I ain't got one like that. I don't know. It's smooth, but it moves you a lot.
Try triple tapping. You look pretty flat.